Hi folks, and this is the last instalment of the pattern itself. So we're covering round 15 and round 16 of part 5 of the card. So as we're continuing from where we left off at round 14, we're not changing colours, we're not adding anything in, we're staying with teal. And to start this round we need to chain 2, and I'm just going to mark my top chain so that I know that that is where my piece of work needs to end on this round. And what I need to do now is do 5 half trebles in this chain space here. Okay, so we're only collecting the chain from the last round. So we go in, and so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. We're not doing anything with this double here at all, we're missing it. And then we're doing 2 trebles into the 2 chain space. Or if you want to work into the chains, you can. That's how the designer is working. I am choosing to work into the space so that the stitches can find their natural places themselves. So we worked into those, so now we need to work into the next 4 trebles. Right, this is where you need to know where you're putting your hook. So this is the 2 trebles in the chain space. This is the post here of the first treble in this cluster of 9 for the corner, and that is the top of that stitch. So that's where our first treble needs to go. If you put it up here, your count's going to be out, which is another reason why you may wish to use a stitch marker to mark number 5, so that you know for definite that these are the 4 places you need to be putting. But this here to the right of this post is the top of the first treble where we need to put our first stitch in this round on this particular part. So we're going in there and we're putting 1 treble in there, we're putting another treble in the next one and the next one. So you should have 4 trebles, and that should bring you to the 5th stitch, which is the central stitch in this group here. Okay, and then in this particular place we need to do 1 treble, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and another treble in exactly the same place. So that's 1 treble, 3 chains and another treble, all in the same stitch. Okay, I can take that out now because it's done its job. And then we need to put a treble in the next 4 stitches along. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we're putting 2 trebles. You either put them in the chains if that's what you wish to do, or into the space. I'm choosing to put them into the space. We're not doing anything with this double here, but we are putting 5 trebles into that space. So we're only working you either work into each chain, or I'm working into the space. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we are putting a treble in this double here in the center. In fact, I've just changed my mind as I think about it. What I'm going to do is put a half treble in that double, and then put 4 doubles in this chain, half trebles in this chain space, 2, 3, 4, then 1 in there, like so, and then we're on to a repeat. So I've changed it slightly for neatness. So we're back starting from the beginning. So I'm going to put 4 in here, 2, 3, 4, or you can put 1 in each of the 4 chains that were skipped on the earlier round. A half treble into that double there, then 2 trebles into this next chain space, or if you wish you can put your stitches straight into the chain itself, and then we're coming to this corner again. So if I give my work a tug, this first little hole that's identified as the top of the first stitch, and that's where I need to put my first treble. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come up to the central one, so we want 1 treble, 3 chains, 2, 3, and another treble in exactly the same stitch, like so. Okay, then we're coming around onto the other side, so we need to put 4 trebles down the side of here, so that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then you can put a treble in each of these chains or just into the space, so that's 1 and 2. Then we're going down to half trebles, so I'm going to put 1 in the double crochet there and 4 into the chain space to create the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we come to the central double crochet where I'm going to put another half treble. Yeah, that's lying much better. Looks like I'll be frogging my previous square. Then we're back to repeating again, so you either put 5 trebles along into each one, or you work into the space. I'm going to put 4 into the space, 3 and 4, 1 into the double, then we come to the 2 chain space, so you either put a treble in each of the chains, or I'm going to put 2 trebles into the space itself. And again, if I pull my work, the hole for the first stitch presents itself. So we want 1 treble in there, in the next one, 2, next one, 3, next one is 4. Then we should be at number 5, and at the centre of this corner, this is where we do a treble in that stitch, 3 chains, and then another treble into the same place to create that corner. And then we're coming down this next side, so 4 trebles into these 4 trebles below, so it's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then again a treble in the next 2 chains, or in my case I like to just put them into the chain space so they can find their own kind of where they want to be. A treble, half treble, sorry, into that double there, and then 4 into this chain space here, or into the chain itself. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're back to the centre. We're going to put half treble in the centre there, and then we're back to repeating the pattern. So 5 across the chain, 5 half trebles, or work 4 into the space, 2, 3, 4, 1 into the double to make the 5. Then we putting a treble into each of these chains or into the space below, so that's 2 trebles, like so, and we're coming up to our last corner, and again if I just tug slightly, the hole will present itself. So this very first hole here, where my finger keeps blocking it out, that's where our first treble goes. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then we're coming up to number 5, which is the corner point, so we put a treble in there plus 3 chains and another treble on top, all in the same space, and we're onto the home straight. So we're putting a treble into the next 4 trebles below, 3 and 4, which brings us to the 2 chains. So you either put your 2 trebles into the chain itself or just into the space if you prefer. Then we're going down to half trebles, 1 in the double that we did in the previous round, and 4 into this center here, into this chain space, sorry, here, or again into the chain itself. And that brings us right back to where we started, and you slip stitch in the top chain of the 2 chains that you made at the beginning. It's the turning chain is what they're usually called. Oh, I might get me, don't think it's going to let us get me hook in with the stitch marker. So that's 1, 2, come on, not there, and just slip stitch together. Okay, and we're on to round 16, it's the final round. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to mark it just like I did, so I don't previously, so I don't have bulk. And then we need to do a double crochet into the next 12 stitches. So the next stitch top of is here. Okay, so there's the post, there's the top of it. So we put a stitch in there, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So as long as you make sure you identify the top of that first stitch, you should have 12 stitches, which will bring you to the corner chain space. And in this chain space we're doing 3 doubles, 1, 2, 3, that gets us nicely round that corner. And then we've got to do 25 double crochets across this next edge. And again, you need to make sure that your first stitch gets put in the right place, otherwise your count will be out. So again, if I give my work a tug, the hole presents itself. You may need to shift the stitches along in the chain space to actually identify it, but that's where your first stitch goes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, which should bring you back to the next chain space at the corner where we put 3 doubles. Okay, now we turn our work again, and again, if you identify that first stitch correctly and your previous round is right, then your numbers should work out. So your first stitch is there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 brings us nicely to that corner spot again. So we go in and put 3 doubles in there, and then again identifying that first stitch for the next side. So again we're 25 across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and 25 brings us to the last corner space. So 3 doubles in there, and then we're left with 13. So again you need to make sure you identify that first stitch correctly. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 brings me right to my stitch marker. So I'm going to snip here because I know that this is finished. I'm going to pull my yarn through and finish in the usual manner through the turning chain. And because I know that this edge is going to be crocheted to another, I need to make sure, one, that that join is hidden, but I know I can weave through the top of this because it's going to be joined to another at some point. Talking of joins, I will be covering joins in a video. There's a few people asked. The join in the pattern is double crochet or single crochet if you're using US terminology on the reverse of the piece of work. But so I will show you how the designer has joined their work together, but I may show you a couple of alternatives as well, and they'll suit everyone. It'll be different. So I'll just cut this little tail off here, and now we have a completed square, which does look a bit wobbly on the edges, but once it's blocked it will be fine. So I hope you enjoyed my videos for this part. I hope they've been useful and helpful. I do appreciate everybody who follows me. I didn't expect the response that I've gotten, to be fair. But I'll speak to you soon. I'll finish off part 4 with the slip stitches up the side, and then I'll cover joining pieces together so that you have some choices in how you might wish to do that. Okay, so happy hooking, thank you very much, and we'll speak soon. Bye.